Today we're working on some domestic rams, billy goats, whatever you want to call them. These are not like wild sheep, but more like what you might go on a Texas hunt for. One of them is a Corsican mix. The other, I don't know, you can see, but they're both very, very different. And I'm going to show you kind of some techniques that I use with these rams that they're a little bit different than mounting a deer head. Here's what we're going to be working on. Like I said, very different animals here. This one is definitely a Corsican or a Corsican mix. I don't really know what you'd call this one, but he's little and he is almost pure white. So some cool stuff here. Can't wait to get started. I'm going to cut this first. You can measure the distance here between the back of the eye and the opening for the skull cap to sit here. And if we just cut about that much off of here, we'll have a nice fit and be able to set our horns. Let's take these off, and I like to set them on a chair here, hold them with my foot. I know, it's a little precarious, but we're going to cut right up here below the horn bases. These guys are so much tougher than a white-tailed deer as far as the top of their skull. You know, they're always butting each other with their heads, so it's really thick, way thicker to cut than a deer's skull cap. But this looks just about perfect. Nice transition there, good angle. I'm going to Bondo this skull cap on now, and then I'm actually not going to put those horn sheaths on until after the ram's even mounted. It'll be a lot easier to position the ears that way, especially if you have a really tight curled ram. Mix us up some Bondo, and we're going to reinforce this with some fiberglass chop. Always mix in your hardener first. Here's our fiberglass. I'll mix that in to form a nice ball of fiberglass. Cur plunk. Put that right on top there. Squish these onto here. Let's get it lined up and then smooth it over with this Bondo. And we'll just straighten it up and hold it in place until it sets. Now let's test fit his horns. Looks like that's going to be a great fit. They look even. This one is very close to the form over here because of the turn of the head. That's why I'm going to mount it first and then slip this on, and it won't be a problem. I mentioned that these rams were kind of like domestic rams, high fence type hunt. And because of that, they have ear tags that were put through the ears. You can see the hole on this side and then a little bit smaller hole on the cartilage side. And I'm going to show you how I kind of remedy this for Bondo ears. After drying that off pretty well with a hair dryer, I'm going to take a dryer sheet. This is actually a used dryer sheet. They work better than a brand new one, so save your dryer sheets after you've done your laundry. And just pull off a small amount, about like this. And then let's get some super glue. And we're just going to apply a little bit around this ear tag hole. I like to double up on my adhesive, so I'm also going to take this 3M spray adhesive, spray a little bit onto that piece of laundry sheet that we have here. And now I'm going to take the piece of dryer sheet and we're just going to place it right over that ear tag hole there. And for added adhesion, I'm going to spray just a light bit of this spray adhesive. And that's going to help to really lock it down. Let's let that dry, and then let's do the same thing over here on the cartilage side. Let's put a little bit of glue there. Apply our dryer sheet. So what this is going to do is create a barrier just enough for the Bondo to not just go squishing out of that hole when we go to do our Bondo ears. And then all it's going to take is a little bit of airbrushing from the outside to cover right over, the little bit of hole that you'll see from the outside. It's very thin, it adheres easily, and now that ear is ready to be Bondoed. Now I've turned this ear right side out. You can see from this side we can actually hardly see much of a hole at all. On the back side here you can still see the hole and that little bit of dryer sheet showing through. But like I said, once we paint this black and blend it in, that's not going to be able to be seen. I'm going to mix up some Bondo here, this time with the red hardener. I prefer the red hardener for ears. And some fiberglass mat. I'm going to put this Bondo down inside the ear. I like using this mat because it really holds it together. This isn't going to just go squishing out of any holes, even if there are any small holes. It's going to hold it together. See, I'm pushing it all the way to the tip, and if I hadn't covered that hole somehow, this would be going everywhere. But now it's all kept intact. Isn't that nice? We'll use a needle here to let the air out the tip of the ear. Air bubbles tend to get up in here and keep your Bondo from going all the way to the tip. That is a super easy way to repair holes in ears, whether it's an ear tag or just a natural hole or a rip that perhaps you've created while you were turning the ear. Don't worry, you can still do Bondo ears mess-free just by covering those up with the dryer sheets. Moving along, I'm going to set the eyes here. Got some nice Tohican eyes. It's very important to get these set level and set the same from side to side. They're so light colored. If they're off by even a bit, you're going to see that. So I like to stand in front and really compare the two and make sure they're even. I have the mount itself leveled on the mounting stand. I'm going to roll me out a ball of clay here. First I do the top eyelid, and then I'll do the bottom. And I can adjust the shape of this a little bit more accurately once I've got the eyelid skin tucked. And I'm going to put a small bit of clay here on top of this tear duct as well. Now here we go, let's assemble these rams, and this is the speed at which I work every day in my shop. Don't you know I move at lightning speed? No, I'm kidding, but enjoy this music, which is created by me. That's my other hobby, putting together music with my digital keyboard. And I do this because YouTube will not allow me to use just about any other music. You gotta use copyright-free music, and it's tricky. So, not today, YouTube. You're not gonna shut me down. But here we go, putting some paste on the faces and assembling the faces of these rams. And here we have the finished product. I've put the horns back on with Bondo and a screw on the back side, and that made it much easier when mounting to not have those on there. But now they look great, and I've brushed them out, and they are ready to dry before the finish work. I feel like this ram may have actually got bitten on the nose by another ram. That's just a theory, but he has kind of an odd little damage there, so that's interesting. But I hope you enjoyed this video, just kind of showing some of the ins and outs of when I mount a ram like this. A little bit different than a deer head, not too bad, just a little more grooming and a little more prep as far as the horns. But thank you for following my channel here at Amy's Animal Art, and stay tuned for more videos.